There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that we have to deal with.
But what does clear title mean?
Clear title means that everything is paid off, liens are clear.
How did you get into this position?
I was born and said I want to be a title rep, right? Which says nobody.
Right.
By building a ton of a community, right, where I'm offering classes and events, and I found really one thing that was missing here in the real estate space was that real estate agents are lonely, and I'm going to help educate agents and help them with their business.
Do you think investing in real estate is a good thing to do?
Investing.
Welcome to another episode of Puro Biz. We're here with the Mile High guy at Chicago Title,
Hey.
Jared Larkin. How's it going, Jared?
Excited to be here, man. Honored to be on the podcast today. I was thinking back to when we first met.
Yeah.
It was like doing like content creation, wasn't it?
Yeah. You took us to like a little tour of Cherry Creek and let us it gave us a good perspective on what people do to shoot content, which is very interesting.
And look at now you're shooting the content today. I love it.
Well, yeah. Obviously, learning from the best and, coming this. But I've always been interested in your career because you know so many people in Denver and you are so well connected. But we are here where a lot of people want to be, in the closing table, right?
Sure, of course, yeah.
What's your business like? What are you promoting? What are you focusing right now?
Yeah, good question. So thanks again for having me on. First question on my business is going to be an interesting one because at the end of the day, I work for Chicago Title. We're here in the Cherry Creek office at the closing table, one of our closing rooms. And what's interesting about title insurance, interesting, right, is that at the end of the day, when someone closes on a real estate transaction, there's a high likelihood that they're going to have title insurance on their transaction. Right? They're going to work with a title company, right, who's going to work through the title and escrow process to get to right here, which is where we want to be, is at the closing table. But sometimes there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that we have to deal with and fix right before we get to that closing table. And one of them is just making sure that someone has clear title, which is why they have title insurance. Now, what's interesting about the industry as a whole for title insurance...
But what does clear title mean?
Clear title means that everything is paid off, liens are clear, any judgments, everything is looked at behind the scenes. If there's anything paid off on the property, that is done. The title company has approved it, the commitment has been gone out, everything has been cleared off of that commitment so that now, right, you can come in and close on your actual property. Okay. And then us as the title company, we're going to insure it so that from our best recollection and knowledge of everything we've looked at, the property will be covered. And what's interesting about title insurance is an insurance policy that's only paid one time that's going to protect you for the entire life and ownership of the property, right? Wow. And most insurance policies usually go and cover you for a certain time period in the future, right? Title insurance is going to cover you for the history, for the past, okay? So it's going to look and cover everything behind. So, just like anything with an insurance policy, right, we don't want anything to happen. But if, God forbid, something came up, whether there was some sort of forgery involved or something was missed on our part, right, we are going to be liable to insure and cover any financial costs that may occur because we've insured the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then why, do you think the owners need to be more involved in selecting the title company rather than what the industry is, which usually the Realtors is the one that tells them where to go?
It's a great question, right? Because let's be honest, if someone's looking at, buying or selling their home, let's just say residential real estate, right? Typically, let's just subjective opinion, title insurance is at the end of the list of things that they're really focused on, right? They're focused on what can I buy, right? What can I afford? What works? And I think title insurance, truthfully, is just not known that well. So they're going to lean on the real estate professional and just say, hey, what do you think, right? What is the title company that I should work with? And typically, right, you're going to recommend, hey, I really like this company. They do a great job because of this, this, and this. But of course, it is right in the homeowner's best interest to understand the unique nuances of title insurance companies. For example, here in Colorado, a fascinating little fact for you is that if you have about $10,000, you can start a title insurance company, which is a fascinating concept if you think about it, because what are we doing? We're insuring real estate, right? And what's the average home price, in Denver Metro? What, 550, 600, 650, depending on how we filter it down, right? If we insure a property that is a $650,000 home, right? At the end of the day, we are liable if something were to occur.
Yeah.
So what's fascinating is we've seen a lot of title companies come and go because they're trying to get into the business, make some money, but then they incur a significant loss and then they just get wiped out. So it does matter which title company you choose.
That's very interesting because I've bought a property in Florida a couple of years ago, and it's a totally different new game there. Like, there's not these like bigger companies, it's mostly small companies, but they don't set up the trust that you want. Like, when I was purchasing, I wasn't sure if that's the company that I wanted to go with. And everything seemed so old school. And it has happened to me here as well, where the seller decided to go with a smaller title company, and everything's so slow, like all repetitive. It's like from another era, right? And
True.
And when I advise my clients, I'm like, no, let's go with one of the bigger ones. So let's go with Chicago Title, because it's such a smooth process, and they're like a nanny for also the whole transaction. Hey, we need this, we need this, and you're like covered for the whole transaction. But I do agree with that, and I was kind of lost when I got there, that I couldn't find like a bigger company. Like, okay, this is the company that it's like the one that people go with. No, there's a bunch. And it kind of left me blindsided. I was concerned the whole way throughout the transaction. Yeah,
that's a good point. What's also fascinating from state to state is who tends to direct the title business. Like, again, everything is negotiable, right? But here in Colorado, we see that it's very commonplace for the seller to pay for the title owner's policy, right? Truthfully, right, the buyer can pay for it too. It's all negotiable. Versus in other markets, it's very common for the buyer to pay. Or I've even talked to lenders in some markets where they tend to be the one who is pushing the title company. So it's fascinating how it shifts in different locations. But like you said, at the end of the day, like, you want a reputable company. As much as I'm a believer in supporting boutique and small businesses, I don't agree with that when it comes to title insurance.
Yeah. If you have that much of a liability, I guess, I would feel more confident of being like a bigger company that, for them it's not such a big deal. But coming from that, I know you from some long time ago, and I see that you are like the connector of Denver, basically. I've never met somebody like you, from other title company or anything. You're like the guy from Denver, the Mile High guy. Like, what's your role with the Mile High guy? What made you get there?
Yeah, so I've been with Chicago Title ever since I kind of fell into this industry 8.5 years ago, 2017. And my role at Chicago Title is, truthfully, it's business development, it's sales, right? It's to help essentially expand market share for Chicago Title here in Colorado, okay? So I'm not the closer, right? I'm not the one that will be in here closing the transaction, reading all the documents, or behind the computer on the phone, right? I will be in charge of connecting and growing Chicago Title's footprint. And truthfully, like we talked about, right, to be fair, right, like we said earlier, I'm just going to make this up, but 95% of the time, right, when the seller hires, say, you to help them sell their home, they're going to say, hey, I trust you, right? What do I do? Who do I choose? Who do I work with, right? And then you're going to provide your recommendations on who those people are. And it's in my best interest to, earn your trust so that when you do get asked that question, you say, Chicago Title is one of the great title companies out there, okay?
Right.
And I've done that by building a ton of a community, right, where I'm offering classes and events. And I found really one thing that was missing here in the real estate space was that real estate agents are lonely, and they want to connect and collaborate and come together, whether it's anything from just a simple happy hour to an educational class to where we met, in Cherry Creek, and hey, let's do a content creation day where we're outside, right, to help with our marketing business. So whatever that is, I just kind of try things and see what makes sense.
Okay.
And connect the realtors and lenders and all the different partners and vendors within the space together, because it's way more fun that way.
Yeah, no, definitely, and yeah, I feel that you like when I follow, like, let's say I find somebody on Instagram, he's already following you, or you're already following him, and I'm like, oh, Jared is everywhere.
That's funny.
But and how did this started? Like, how did you get here? Like, let's go back and like, how did you get into this position? Like, how did you get here?
How did I get started at Chicago Title and stumble my way into title insurance? Well, I was born and said I want to be a title rep, right? Which says nobody, right? Truthfully, you end up, from what we joke, there's two ways you end up in title insurance, and it's like you were born in the business because you had family in it, or you somehow stumble into it like I did.
Okay.
And I stumbled into it. Before I worked at Chicago Title, I loved to travel and see the world. My wife and I backpacked through Europe and Asia for about a year. Damn. Came back a year later, spent all my money, was living in our parents' basement, and in denial that I had to get a real job, but realized I had to. I have a family friend who works in escrow sales out in California. And it just so happened I was out in California, that's where my wife's from, and we were at a house party, and she was there, and she said, you should check out title insurance. And I said, what's that? And I gave a very half effort into Googling what is title insurance and title companies Colorado, and sent some emails, and just so happens that Chicago Title reached out to me, and right place, right time. They were looking to hire someone, and
like for a business development.
For a business development role, exactly.
Okay.
And what had happened was my manager, Leanne Neubauer, who hired me, she just would happen to have just gone back from a company-wide event where they said, we got to hire some young blood, some new people, because the common age is kind of older, and we got to bring in some new people. So there I was, and she took a shot on me, and I just said to her, hey, as much as I love real estate and I know nothing about title insurance, I'll figure it out, obviously, but my approach to this is I'm going to connect the real estate community with events and classes, and I love the marketing space, it just so happens, and I've always been drawn to that, whether it's video or social media or advertising, and I'm going to help educate agents and help them with their business.
Did you have that plan before applying, or like it grew as you were going?
I had a small idea. It was I'm going to help agents with video.
Okay.
And I'm going to teach a class on video, and I did that for the longest time.
Okay.
And then I always took feedback from people who attended and feedback from people when I sat down with them, and they wanted to learn more about their social media and how to improve it, or how to run ads or all that stuff. And I'm the kind of guy where once I hear that, I write it down, and I'm thinking, all right, how do I learn about this? And let's be honest, right? It's all out there, right? It's on YouTube right now in 2025. It's all on AI. If you're willing to look it up and learn it, you can do it. And that's how I've implemented everything in my business. So what started out as, hey, I'm going to sell title insurance, and that's essentially the vehicle that I'm going to use, right, in theory, to make money. I'm going to build relationships by providing value of some sort. Because the truth is, right, is if you're already happy with XYZ title company, and I call you up or reach out to you, why are you going to talk to me? And the truth is you shouldn't, because unless I have something of value to offer and provide, because your time is valuable, right? And I want to respect that, and I want to provide value to you in terms of trying to create a relationship. And, if there's a way to work together at Chicago Title down the road, even better.
Nice. Yeah, that's an excellent plan, and I still you've been very successful at it, and I haven't seen a competition from you. You're
nice.
like
it's very nice of you.
I think you're swimming solo.
It's very nice.
But yeah, I mean, I think Chicago Title is doing it right with you. But and coming from that, so you've been working 8 years and you've seen the growth of Denver basically. Like, how do you see the growth? Do you like what's going on? How do you feel the economy is doing?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? Because I know we recently did have some reports that came out that said that for the first time we are starting to see a little bit of a decline in the population for different reasons of people moving out of this space in this area. And I just think, like anything, there's always going to be pros and cons to right, any sort of city or area expanding, declining. I'm all for it, right? I think the more people that move here or the more that the development takes place, right, there's going to be additional benefits and opportunities for those that want to take advantage of them, right? We're seeing explosion. I mean, right here, we're here in Cherry Creek. I mean, in the last 3 to 4 years, I've never seen so many cranes up, and it's just exploding, right? Downtown Denver, right? They just finished up 16th Street, and they have revitalized that whole space, and they're doing cool things, because what's that going to do? That's going to attract more people here who are going to visit, who are then going to maybe like it, or companies or businesses that want to relocate here and expand, right, and create opportunities in the economy for all of us. So I'm all for it, other than all the traffic, getting up to the ski mountains, right?
Yeah.
I know people like to complain about that.
Yeah.
But,
I always tell them to move to, like, an area that you can, like, kind of get away from the traffic of the highways. Maybe like Lakewood, Golden.
Right.
That's a good area to live in if you like skiing.
Yep. You're closer.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit less traffic.
But yeah, and how do you see do you think investing in real estate is a good thing to do?
It's a subjective opinion. Yeah, investing correctly, right, to real estate, right? I want to lean onto an expert like you to help me. But I mean, let's be honest. Historically, if we look at a lot of very successful, wealthy individuals, families, companies, etc., right, there might be a big tie behind that to investing in real estate and leveraging real estate as an investment vehicle to build wealth. I'm all on board with it, right? Yeah.
The other day I was having an interview, and the guy, he's a little bit older than us. He's like, I don't know, 60 or something. And he was funny. He's like, well, real estate is the only investment that, if you can do it and look smart 30 years from now. Like, you won't look dumb at all 30 years from now in any situation, because most likely it will increase in price, and mostly if you're in a city that's developing, technologies and jobs and stuff like that. So I think that's very important for people that are thinking of in investing. Look at what their city is doing for them, and then decide if that's the right city for you. What economics, and that's one of the things that I think I liked about Denver, that there's not too much influence of something is like a whole thing, right? So if this goes down, there's still other things that support the growth of Denver. Not like other cities that if this, I don't know, let's say oil as an example, and that's the only thing, and if that day one day cuts off, then the city dies,
Sure.
So that's something that, I don't know, I feel that's very valuable for us.
Yeah, we're not making any more land, right? And I agree with you. It's going to go up, right? Always has historically.
So now that you are so connected to the city, I feel, what business opportunities do you see in the city that are interesting? Like, what have you seen that, people are doing? I want to inspire people to, start their own business and, like, go for what they are feeling, trust their gut, and maybe if they're tired at their job, try to do different things to, I don't know, have more fulfillment in their life.
Yeah, I think for anyone who's trying to start a business or their own job, I think now more than ever is a great time to do it, just with the advancement of technology and AI, right? I don't know about you, but I am obsessed with all of this constant evolution in AI. It's moving so fast. And now more than ever, right? And I know Mark Cuban came out and he said there's going to be millionaires and billionaires now more than ever that are going to be built off of the AI boom faster than, say, the .com boom. Because you can do it so quickly, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're just starting off with ChatGPT, there's so many other AI platforms and systems out there that you can leverage to your advantage to quickly build a business. And as much as I know there, and this isn't just Denver, right? This is, of course, anywhere because you can do it anywhere. I think that in this day and age, yes, there are going to be a lot of jobs that will be unfortunately removed because of AI taking over that. I also do believe, though, that there's a huge opportunity for the next wave of like the AI consultant. So I think that is going to be a commonplace thing. Those people that are willing to lean into the advancement in technology and AI, they are going to have a huge opportunity at their hands to choose really a niche or an industry that they want to focus in on and essentially help optimize it. And I see these AI consultants essentially working with businesses and within industries where they're going to help optimize their business and help them essentially run more efficiently. And there's a lot of opportunity right now to do that.
Yeah, so to take away from that is basically like focus on AI, right?
I guess so. Focus on AI.
Yeah.
I think there's huge opportunity.
No, and also like for whatever you want to do, you can also like if you don't know how to do something, you can just ask it, and then it will give you so many answers that just brainstorm with it.
It's all there. I'm just trying to figure out if I have to pay for college in 15 years from now for I got 3 kids. I'm trying to figure out because it's all there, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's moving fast.
Yeah. It's crazy how things are moving. And what's one of the things that you liked about living here? Like, give me your favorite spots. Give me some things about Denver that you like.
Gosh, so I'm from upstate New York, and it's beautiful. I stay for about 12 weeks, and it just gets cold and dark and cloudy, and there's wind chill, and I haven't been back in years. In fact, actually, most of my family's moved out here, which is fantastic.
Okay.
And you can't beat it, man. It's the sunshine, hands down. The sunshine, I truly believe, can just help set your mood and make your day better. I think it makes all the difference with all the sunshine we get here. And of course, right, if you like to be outdoors, we've got the mountains. I love to ski, I love to hike. Honestly, I like the summertime more than the wintertime for the mountains, as much as I love skiing. I like the people. Everyone's really, in my opinion, really friendly and nice here, that I've noticed. I live nearby in Cherry Creek, and I kind of live in my bubble, so I kind of bike around and I hit all the restaurants here. It's funny, pre-kids and living downtown, I knew like all the spots and all that, and I can't keep up with it anymore. But
no, you have to cook.
I have to cook. I know, but I love getting out, right, to
Nice.
some great restaurants, some great coffee shops, all the things. It's happening.
What's a spot that you recommend to everyone that maybe not that many people know?
Gosh, I don't know.
Give me your go-to places.
It's not very exciting. I'm down the street, right? If I want to go to Aviano Coffee.
Okay.
What
do you like about Aviano?
I like the vibe. I like the cool spot. They got 2 spots in Cherry Creek, right? You can hang out.
Yeah.
Good spots. Sit outside. Sit inside.
It's crazy how they are so close together and they're always full, right?
Yeah, and it's the vibe in there, right? Like everyone in there is like, maybe they just got done with a workout, or they're meeting for business. I feel like things are going on in there, and it's kind of cool to be in there and feel that energy.
There is this business in Miami called Pura Vida. I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it.
Costa Rican?
Well, it's based off of that.
Okay.
And I think it will be so like the Cherry Creek vibe. It's like completely there.
Really?
And I've even like messaged them, hey, you should open here, But it would totally kill. You will be like, it's everything. It's similar to Aviano. Okay, they have the coffee and stuff, but they also have like healthy breakfast, and they go through lunch and dinner, but it's all the vibe of being outdoors, exercising and stuff, and super cool place.
Someday, I hope it comes here.
Hopefully, yeah. And from what do you see that I don't know, agents are like could tap into it? Like what do you think agents are missing on their strategies. Like you see a lot of agents every day.
Yep.
And then I imagine you see the patterns of
Sure.
people that are doing great and people that, you know, are just figuring it out.
Yeah.
What do you think are, you know, some skills that agents that maybe are starting out, or maybe, you know, they want to grow their business, they should start, you know, working on?
I think real estate agents that are just starting out in this industry, right? Now's a great time to get started. I know there's subjective opinions.
Really?
I think if you're willing to work hard, I think there's a lot of opportunity, right? There's always gonna be two sides of the coin, right? Is it a seller's market, is it a buyer's market, right? Obviously things have shifted this year, but I think there's huge opportunity if you're willing to work hard and really build your business. The way I always see the real estate space, if you're gonna start out and be a real estate agent in the market, I always see there's like kind of two spheres, there's two circles that you're starting out to kind of get going, right? One is if you have like a database of people, if you're from here or you're involved in things, you've got these people, right, that already trust you, right? They're gonna say, hey, you're my guy, I'm gonna use you. We just don't know when they're ready to buy or sell. So we're just kind of waiting on that. But then you really have to work this other circle, right? If you don't have a big enough circle over here, and these are gonna be all of your, I always say, not so fun things that you have to do, right? Whether you're, you know, cold calling. Are you cold calling for sale by owners or expireds? Or are you doing open houses? Or are you paying for leads, right? It's all like time or money, and where do you want to spend it? And you kind of have to get this one going with this one. But then I think eventually, right, as you do right and work hard, right, this one over here, the easier one with the sphere, gets bigger. And then hopefully, right, you build your business to a point where you just get to kind of do all those fun things that you like to do in your daily lives, whether it's you're part of a mountain biking group or you're skiing or do yoga or work out or part of an investment community, and then enough business just comes from it. And that's when it gets really, really fun, right? Okay. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I'm still figuring it out. No, I think you have to innovate every day.
Yeah.
And see what sticks and what not. Like maybe what used to stick, you know, a couple of years ago, it's a totally different game now, you know, today. For me, my buyers have changed a bit. So adapting to, you know, tap other type of buyers and other type of sellers. So, you know, and that's a whole different game for me because I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. But yeah, definitely I'm connecting with more people like I'm doing with you, and I'm taking advice. So what advice would you have for me today?
My advice for you and really any real estate agent that's listening or watching to this is activity, right? It's no hidden secret. It's just more activity will breed to more results. I promise you, if you do more things, you're gonna have more opportunities and more results. Again, only being in this business now for 8.5 years in title insurance sales, it's crazy to look back at those things that I did that were just kind of like random things, whether it was that random, I don't know, networking event that I went to, or that class that I taught, or that dodgeball tournament that I hosted, where opportunities led down that path. And now it's turned into great relationships with great people that I've met who are now clients at Chicago Title. It's the same thing, whether it's title insurance sales or being a real estate agent. The more activities you do, I think there's a million different ways to go out there and do it. You got to choose the ways that you want to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out. For example, when I first got into title insurance sales, I hated cold calling. I did it for a week. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore, right? Then I started like popping into offices and introducing myself. I found out that didn't work either. And finally, I was like, I'm just going to like host classes and events and bring the community together and do that. And then I started to get, you know, oh, that's kind of working. Let's do more of that and lean into that, right?
And that's one of the things I've considered. I've done a couple of classes with other people, but I've never done it like by myself, you know, as you do. And I'm always like scared of like, oh, how many people are gonna show up, and like, how was that first class for you?
Oh, 0 people showed up.
0 people showed up. Okay.
So my advice to anyone that's afraid to do a class or event, right, whether a real estate agent or in any sales position, is worst case scenario. I always like a worst case scenario, right? If nobody shows up, what are you out of? Did you spend time? Yes, promoting it. Did you spend money? Hopefully no, right? I'll give you an example. Right before this podcast, guess what? I hosted a class downstairs for real estate agents. It was a CE credited class on VA loans, and we had 12 people signed up, and guess what? One person showed up.
Oh, wow, okay.
Right? But here's the deal. Here's my point. Is you don't know if that one person is like the perfect person to connect with, right? Because I've had that where I've had classes where 1 or 2 people show up and end up building great relationships with those people. Or if worst case scenario, you do get skunked and it's 0 people, okay, fine, right? You spend a little bit of time promoting it and marketing it, but I still see value in doing that because, right, you're gonna push out your event to your database, your sphere, your people, and invite them to something that you believe is valuable, special, and you want them to be a part of it. So you're still like staying in front of your database and touching them and notifying them of this. And maybe they won't be able to make it to this one, but they'll consider the next one.
Okay.
Right? It's also good testing grounds. You figure out like what they like, what they don't like, what works, what doesn't work. But I do think too many real estate professionals are, they're not considering doing, events within their, annual things that they do to support their database and their community. And a lot of the agents and teams that I work with that are highly successful, they're doing at least one event a quarter with their database, their friends, their family, their sphere. And there's just something different about being connected with someone and face-to-face with them, right? Yeah. I think a good buddy of mine, he shared with me this, and I'll share with it to you too. If you took someone and you labeled them 1 through 10 of how close you were to them, right? 1 is they have no idea who you are, right? And 10 is like, Alberto's my best friend, like I would refer him to everybody, right? He's the best.
Right.
I think all of the online social media and the ads and the postcards and all that stuff, right? That might take someone from a 1 to a 3 to a 4 to a 5. But then I think at some point you got to get in front of them, right? You got to do an event, whether it's even something just like a happy hour or something laid back, and right then that gets them to a 6 or a 7 or whatever, and then my buddy jokes, and you get drunk with them, and then they're an 8 or a 9 or a 10. I'm not saying you have to do that, but right, there's something about being connected with someone.
Okay, yeah, and definitely in this new era, right? Yeah. I think there's something going on in there. I live in a building, and it's 50-50 of people that might say hi in the elevator, and it's not their fault. It's maybe it's like personalities and stuff. But yeah, I feel that way. Once you open that door, people wanna talk and wanna connect. I think there's maybe after COVID, like the door is really big, but once you open it, everyone wants to share what they're doing. People, as you said, not only agents, people in general are kind of lonely this time.
I think they are. No, a good buddy of mine at another real estate office, he says like a bunch of real estate agents were surveyed, and one commonality out of it was a lot of them are lonely, because it can be a lonely business if you're not part of a team or a group, right? And at the end of the day, you're in sales and you're responsible to perform and do your business, and sometimes it's nice to be around other people and connect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And so, I really like this interview because I feel that we both got some value out of it. Yeah. And coming to the person that's buying the property, right? Yeah. I know you work in a title company, so you've seen both sides, people that maybe have had a great transaction or people that might be struggling a bit. What tips or advice do you have for someone that's selling or buying a house? Have you seen something that they need to maybe be aware of or be paying attention to, that you see that you have seen in your career?
Totally. Yeah, if you are selling, maybe you're buying a house, or even if you're a real estate agent, right, and you're helping with a transaction, I always say it never hurts to order an owner and encumbrance report on a property. Even for you, right, if you're going into a listing, it never hurts to just order an owner encumbrance report. And what this report is, it's just a quick look at the property on, are there any judgments, are there any liens, right? Is there a mortgage? Who has title to the property? Just so you know what's going on with the property. Also too, even for the homeowner, like, and it's rare, but we have seen it. I've dealt with it before with some people that I know, is sometimes there's fraud where right, they aren't on title because there was some sort of fraudster that came in and changed things. So it never hurts to take a look before you are going to transact, just to know what you're up against.
And that's something that you guys can provide.
That's something we can provide.
Okay.
Just reach out to me, I can help.
Oh, nice. And how do you recommend that before, like maybe once they sent an offer, or at what point in the transaction?
Yeah, I don't think it's unfortunately just shared enough. I think I know some agents, even when they're working with buyers, they always order one. I say sellers at all times, right? And the listing agent should order one, even if you're going into a listing presentation, because it never hurts to look. Because we've seen the other side of that coin where they didn't know what was going on, and then right, it's under contract, and then there's a lot of red flags that pop up, and
now they have spent all this money, inspections, appraisals.
So it never hurts. So reach out to us, Chicago Title. We can help. And any title questions, obviously, we're here to help. So
nice.
You know, and anyone watching this or listening to this, you know, if you are working with Chicago Title or whatever, have questions, please reach out to me. Happy to help.
Yeah, you're definitely here. I'll leave the information below so you guys can reach out. But yeah, I think this was a great time.
That's it.
And thank you so much for the interview. Thank you for the tips. And
thank you for having me.
And yeah, let's hopefully in the future do another one.
Let's do it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Thank you so much.
Of course, man. Anyone watching this, if you do want to reach out, you can look up just Mile High Title Guy, milehighhtitleguy.com. You'll find me.
Definitely. He has classes. He can guide you through, like, you know, like starting with a camera until you get your videos ready. And
I'm a marketing consultant that sells title insurance. It's funky, but it's fun.
But yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching, listening. See ya.